Alrighty, back today I have a couple of Glocks on the bench. Just kind of wanted to show real quick my Glock collection for those interested. To preface this video, I have had, for lack of a better term, I got into Glocks probably 5-6 years ago, and I kind of had a little collection then. I ended up getting rid of all of them, went a different route, gun horror issues, whatnot and so forth, but gotten back into them. So at this point in my life, I don't know, I just have kind of enjoyed the ease, simple, reliable, aftermarket potential as well. So real quick, I'm just going to go through each of them and kind of show what they are and go from there. So first of all, I got the Glock 44 22 long rifle. This is in my mind, a very nice 22 trainer in terms of the Glock platform. The frame, for the most part, is very compatible with Gen 5 Glock 19 accessories. Now you can get the performance trigger from Glock in there. They have a 10-round magazine. There is aftermarket options for that to get that up, but reliability is hit and miss. They're kind of neat. You have a polymer overshield kinda, and then you have a steel lower part of the slide here, so you can see this steel band here, and that kind of goes up inside the polymer and encompasses everything that needs to be steel, including the chamber face and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty neat. Next one, this is what kind of kicked it off for me. I ended up getting the Gen 5 Glock 20. I never owned a Glock 20 before, so this was kind of my first one. Went with the Gen 5 as they were pretty fresh release at the time. This does have the MOS options. Standard 15-round magazine. But, I mean, for the most part, aftermarket on the Gen 5 of the large frames has not caught up quite yet. They're not really that, I don't know if to use the term popular, or they just haven't caught up to it yet. There is options, you gotta do a little bit of looking, but like on this one, I put in a tungsten guide rod and put in a new a new back plate for the slide. Put in an aluminum one there. Kind of like the look, kind of matches the slide with the shininess on it a little bit better. That's strictly aesthetic. So, but yeah, it's a really nice shooting pistol. I like the Gen 5s without the finger grooves. It's pretty comfy. I didn't really mind the finger grooves per se, but it does make it feel a little bit thinner in terms of having a big old 10mm Glock 20. So, oh yeah, but yeah, it is MOS and it has the ambi slide release and everything like that. But set that one aside. My next one here, a Glock 29 Gen 5 in 10mm. So these are relatively new in terms of what's Glock released as of late. They've just changed a few things about them. Obviously, single pin for the Gen 5, ambi controls. There is no MOS, I believe, at the time of this video. I don't know if they have them yet or not, but that's not an option yet. But you do get the front slide serrations, the updated thing that Glock never talks about, where you get a little ramp here to help prevent pig nosing. That's also on the Glock 20 as well, so you can see there. But yeah, this is a really fun pistol. I've always shot the Glock 29 really well. It's compact, it's got a 10-round magazine. You can also take your Glock 20 magazines, so you can hold that 15 rounds. This doesn't have, oh God, I forgot that part on the Glock 20. This doesn't have, on these smaller ones, doesn't have the flared mag well, but it doesn't have any finger grooves or anything like that. But sorry. But yeah, it's a pretty nice pistol. I enjoy it. It's a little thick in terms of carry, but it's definitely a carry option. I mean, it's just available, and I wanted, honestly, to have the Glock trifecta of 10 millimeters, which will lead into my next one here, the Glock 40 Gen 4. This is a behemoth in terms of Glocks. Get a 6-inch barrel, very heavy slide. This one obviously has suppressor height sights with a Vortex optic on it. Obviously, being Gen 4, you have the finger grooves, all that. But it is, as again, a 15-round magazine. The Glock 40 Gen 4 is a very nice pistol. My intentions on this are going to be purely probably in terms of hunting. I'd really like to take a whitetail deer with this. We will see. I picked this up used. I have had a Gen 40 in the past, and that's just kind of funny and ironic that I got rid of it and ended up with it again. So this is obviously a different one, but that's the way things go in the gun world. A lot of people say they like to keep every gun they ever buy, but I like to try different things, and unless I get something on my mind that I want to keep, I'm gonna possibly trade something out. I don't have a lot of sentimental value with any of these firearms. So, but in terms of, these, they're all very, like I said, very easy to work on. So this is that trifecta I was talking about: Glock 20, Glock 29, Glock 40. So you do have, or I have all of the, at least a model of the 10 millimeters. I also had a Glock 29 Gen 4, very comparable to the Gen 5s. I mean, it just, like I said, different finish, different, you got the slide serrations, different frame, whatnot. But yeah, that leads me to my last one here. That's the newest one. This is my first 9mm Glock I've ever bought. This is the Glock 48. Very slender, slim line. I think this is my first actual slim frame Glock. My wife did have a Glock 30S, which had the slim slide on the Glock 30. And she liked that, but she ended up wanting to sell it because she wanted to get some saddle stuff for her horses. So I'm not going to tell her what to do with her guns. But yeah, that was a sweet pistol. But anyways, sidetracking here. It is nice. You have a longer slide on the Glock 48. The Glock 43 is just a little bit shorter, about yay. But you get a little extra sight radius here on the slide. This is an MOS compatible. Yeah, it's a very enjoyable pistol to shoot. Really good for carry. A little on the bigger side in terms of length and frame length and everything, but it's definitely thinner, which helps a lot because that's usually my big issue, is getting something fat tucked in my waistband. But that being said, that kind of completes my current Glock collection. If I kept everything, I would have added a like I said, I would have had the first Glock 40 that I had. I had the Glock 29 Gen 4. I had the Glock 33 Gen 4 and 357 SIG. Kind of missed that one, but hey, that is what it is. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. This is obviously a very Glock heavy video, but yeah. So far, I'm digging all of them. I haven't really found anything I disliked on any of them per se. I think Gen 5 options have fixed potential gripes in the past, just in terms of functionality with the older models that I had. I am curious when Glock will release a Gen 5 Glock 40. I think that'd be kind of neat. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and put a new... So in the Glock 17Ls, they replaced this piece here with polymer to make the slide lighter and stuff like that. But 10 millimeter, you know, it's a heavier round. I don't know if they'll go that route or not, but it's really not that hard for Glock to do. I mean, they already obviously have the frame for the Glock 20, which is pretty much the same frame on the 40, just not for the Gen 5. So all they really got to do is get a slide together with the features, and that's pretty much it. So, but yeah, again, before I get too long and drawn out, I'll end the video there, but let me know what you think. And, you know, put some comments down below and we'll have some conversation about it. But yeah, ask any questions you want on any of them. I'll try to answer the best I can. So, alrighty, thanks for watching.